Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we might find out once and for all if Knight does indeed counter Pike, as a strong cavalry civilization meets a strong infantry civilization, with Daniel playing as the Poles in red, taking on Hera playing as the Armenians in blue. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP, a good time for us to take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now the Poles, as I mentioned, a civilization that likes to focus on their cavalry, in the mood for something a little bit light, while their scout line units, do come with a small attack bonus against archers and can be upgraded to do trample damage, which can be very helpful in the late stages of the game, since Poles are one of the only two civilizations to have their hussars replaced with winged hussars, which are already tankier and stronger than normal hussars and come with an attack bonus against gunpowder units and an even bigger attack bonus against monks. Now, if you want to skip the appetizer, just dive right into the main course, that heavy cavalry unit. Well, Pole Knights and Cavaliers can be upgraded to cost a lot less gold. And when I say a lot, I mean it, from 75 to 30. So it becomes much easier to spam these heavy cavalry units starting in the Castle Age. Now, to provide a little bit of backup for their cavalry on the field of battle once the fighting actually starts, the Poles can field their unique unit, the Obuch. This is a tanky, well-armored infantry unit whose attack actually reduces both the melee and the pierce armor of its opponent with every single swipe of its oversized Nadjak or Warhammer. Now, to support their production of cavalry units non-stop, Pole stone miners also generate gold while they work the quarry. Their farmers have access to a unique structure called the Folwark, which where your berries over here, which does replace the Pole mill and automatically adds 8% of the value of a farm seated in its radius to the coffers of the Pole, while also providing 5 population space. I'll point it out once Daniel actually plops it down next to these berries. Not my favorite lemon bushes, but yeah, it'll do. Now, Pole villagers themselves are also harder to raid because, like Viking berserkers, starting in the Feudal Age, they do regenerate HP. Now, pivoting to the north of the map, we've got Hera playing as the Armenians, a very much infantry civilization. To start with, all Armenian infantry units come with extra line of sight and are available an age earlier, which means Armenians actually have spearmen in the Dark Age, longswordsmen and pikemen in Feudal, and in Castle Age, two-handed swordsmen, champions, and even halberdiers. Now, these same infantry units, except for their spearman line units, can be upgraded to get a big plus 30 attack boost, and their first unique unit, the Warrior Priest, blurs the line between Man of War and Man of the Cloth, being an infantry unit that can actually heal friendly units and also gather relics. Now, to support their slower moving bipedal army on the battlefield, the Armenians can field a second unique unit, the Composite Bowman. This is a foot archer whose attack ignores the armor of all land units except for siege. Basically, think what would happen if a Lithuanian Latus lost his horse in, let's say, a poker game, and then had to replace his lance, his spear, with a bow and arrow. You would get the Composite Bowman. Now, in order to help the Armenians get their military-industrial complex up and running ASAP, their first fortified church comes with a free relic inside. Their mule carts are 25% cheaper, and their mule cart technologies are 40% more effective, which means more productive Armenian miners and lumberjacks. So those are the two civilizations we've got before us today, and there is the Folwark. Once you click it, it creates a highlighted aura. Any farm seated within this radius, which, by the way, it does have enough space to seed 8 farms perfectly for all of us who are a little bit OCD and like to have things in nice little neat rows and lines. For example, 8% of a farm added to your coffers immediately, leaving 92% of it to be tilled and farmed and collected by yours truly. Let's take a look at the bases, see whether the players are in any particularly disadvantaged or advantaged positions here. Hera, primary gold, nice and secure to the back. Primary stone, a little bit exposed to the front, as is his secondary gold, but has a little bit more gold and stone to the northwest of his base. Forests, not very helpful in terms of walling off. He's got 3 kind of small ones in a bit of a V shape around his base. Speaking of his base, it is currently being discovered by our Pole, who is plopping down a barracks, which, of course, he does heresies immediately, as he is both population capped and currently heading to the Feudal Age, as is his opponent, who has an extra house out with the, remember, Folwark does add 5 population space, which is why you have 5, 5, 5, 5, and an extra 5 gives you 25. primary gold, primary stone in the forward position, but a bit of a tiny forest here. We'll see if he uses that to wall off or protect these resources. Additional gold to the side, additional stone to that side, and additional gold to the top left of the base as well. Forests also not exactly providing coverage for these players. So both players in a relatively open situation. Daniel hits Feudal Age first with one less villager, 25 seconds ahead of his opponent. Since I'm assuming they both have loom, yes they do, and immediately tower drops. His tower should go up much sooner than Hera's, even though Hera's got a lot more workers on his. Daniel did start his a lot earlier. Let's actually put them side by side. Yeah, Daniel for sure is going to hit his, but he's probably not going to be able to stop Hera's tower going up, even though he might kill a villager. We still have no kills in the game, by the way, as the villagers run away into the town center. Oh, very close there for Hera's spearmen. Daniel has brought a few friends along for the ride out of this barracks and that original scout as well. So for now, our pole has managed to kind of lame the berries of the Armenian. Although, you know, not exactly Franks, not exactly Portuguese. And so Hera will probably have to rely on some other sources of food until he manages to dislodge this, or maybe just start plopping down farms. You never know. Stable coming out for him as well. Although currently nothing being trained. There are the farms that he needs. How many on wood? He's got 9 on wood versus the 3 of his opponents. So he's going to be able to plop down farms all the live long day. Ooh, repairing this tower. That is a very sour use of stone here. But what can you do? You have to make sure your opponent doesn't have too easy of a time getting your territory under his control. And we are 11.5 minutes into the game. Still no kills. Daniel, by the way, has Magellan-style circumnavigated the entire Armenian base. Has Hera even left his original settlement? No, he hasn't. Hera has been pushed back. Daniel, with the aggression, is keeping the Armenian very much stuck inside his base, and Hera doesn't like it. Hera brings forth villagers. Ooh, looks like Daniel wanted to create a bit of a palisade wall off, but not really able to do so. And there we go, the first kill of the game. Going to Daniel's tower, which gets the kill, lights on fire, and will probably collapse. Another kill here for our pole as he manages to get an Armenian spearman here to the right side of our screen. And now his army continues to circle. Who actually got the kill? Wasn't the scout. Wasn't the spearman. It was you, Mr. Billy Club. 2 kills to 1, including a villager. Daniel's tower is down. He's got no more villagers on stone, so he's actually, I don't think he... Did he have villagers on stone? Yeah, now he's got... Never mind. He's just busy walling himself off. Oh, no. Oh, no. That always sucks when that happens. Villagers kind of stuck behind one another. But with 5 villagers on stone, we are in no risk of not seeing any more towers. Remember, their wood cost has been reduced a little bit, I think from 50 to 35. And so even now, I was going to say with 3 villagers on wood, but now he's gone up to 8. Hera's on 14. He needs them. He needs these farms once these berries got lamed. I'm not 100%. How do I put this? I don't know 100% the gathering rates of all the various types of food income, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, berries are just a little bit slower than farms. I think it's something like 0.31 to 0.32 or something like that. I should look it up. I'll probably make myself a little cue card with all the various gathering rates. And then, of course, you know, civilizations like the Franks, whose berry pickers are, they work 15% faster, for example. There is a watchtower stuck in here. Kind of hard to see with all the roofs looking the same. But for now, Daniel is pressing in. He lames a farm. He's going to be able to attack the town center. Now he's attacking the infrastructure as well. Our pole does not want to give our Armenian even a minute to breathe. Hera's army count very confident at a 3 to the 7 of his opponent. 1 archer and 2 scouts. Not too sure they'll be able to stop this tower from going up, especially not with 2 spearmen already out here. And by the way, defender's advantage almost entirely removed by this very aggressive, very forward barracks. And Hera is just in defense mode. He is getting pressed into. He's ahead 1 villager. Even though Daniel did kill 1 villager, he would have been ahead 2 villagers, I guess. And there's a blacksmith. No, never mind. He places it over here. He did not want to place that blacksmith within the radius of the town center, although may not be a bad thing. to place it within the radius of the town center, since Hera might say, hey, wait a second, maybe I'll garrison a villager or two, or maybe these archers, and try to attack your structure that has 1800 HP. And, you know, town center is probably not going to get that blacksmith to go down, but might idle some villagers or military. So and here we go, our pole is taking the primary stone. This is what happens when your resources are in the forward position, and Hera says, F this, I'm just gonna go across the map and attack. He sees where the barracks is, by the way, and so he knows it's probably a direct line from tower to barracks to base, and he goes exactly straight into the pole base. The pole base completely undefended, an emergency tower, but he's got a spearman. One spearman against 3 scouts, usually for their full health, probably not the biggest deterrent, but these guys are pretty damn bruised, and they took a free hit there. And the villagers are joining in on the fun as well. These are loom villagers, remember, so with 40 HP, a bit of armor, and a 3 attack, they should be pretty damn safe from these scouts. At the same time, let's see what's going on inside the Armenian base. By the way, the ratio of gold to stone is pretty damn good. It is 1 gold for every 3 stone mined. So if you mine, let's say, 1 patch of these 350 stone, you get 100 and what is it? 1600 and what's 50 divided by 3? Oh goodness gracious, my parents are, if my parents ever listen to this, not very likely, but if they ever do, I am going to be very much in trouble for all those all that money they spent on Kumon to teach me the multiplication table. Down the shitter. 5 kills now for our Armenian, who manages to lure this Pole army who may not be paying attention. Okay, Hera does manage to get a villager kill. Infrastructure is being destroyed here. Villagers are now up here with a 2nd tower. And so Hera has defended well. He's ahead 1 villager. He's ahead 4 times the army count. He has discovered finally where his opponent is, sees that his opponent's base is not walled off, and has the kill lead 6-2. And by the way, it also includes a villager. Okay, so our infantry civilization is going cavalry, and our cavalry civilization only has infantry. And there you go. Why yours truly prefers not to ever predict any games unless it's I'm inviting the universe to laugh at me. Why did he stop mining the stone here, by the way? I get you may not need stone at the moment. You are heading up to castle, though, pretty much at the exact same time as your opponent, about 12 seconds behind. So you might want to get a castle up and put some pressure on. Instead, he's going for wood with 20 villagers on wood. Very interesting. Hera's damaged scouts, by the way, very much on relic duty right now. Hera is one of the pro players that has the best scouting, if not the best scouting. And the most important lesson for all of us, I guess, is when you have an injured, weak, feudal, or dark, even dark age unit, just use them to scout the map. Even though maybe 3 in a clump, as spread out and staggered as they are, maybe 1 should have been sent up here to the north, where there are, in fact, 2 relics. So both players are in Castle Age. Let's see what they decide to do. Hera's now ahead 2 villagers, siege workshop for our pole. So the pressure is not stopping here. He's got enough stone for 2 more castles and 250 left over. Oh, it gets his primary stone. By the way, our pole, seeing that his primary gold is very exposed to the front, has decided to completely ignore it. By the way, he hasn't had any gold whatsoever this game. 0 villagers, now finally 2 villagers on gold. Did he not mine any of his gold? This is incredible. Is this 800? 800? 8? Yeah, this is the first time. Not every day you see a player starting to mine gold at the 24-minute mark of the game. Although remember, when you're generating gold while mining stone, not exactly necessary to allocate villagers. Basically just enough until you can get your butt up to Castle Age, and then once you're in Castle Age, put down the town center and go for that gold. Hera's here. His army is a mixture of Feudal Age and Castle Age. Archers die, of course they do, to the Knights of the Pole, who now has 6 villagers on stone. Hera has no villagers on stone. Let's see what he's doing. He's pushing out with knights, but these are sister towers, So the knights are going to take a bit of damage. What's their armor? +1. To the south, the towers continue shooting at each other. Hera, by the way, our Pole has gotten none of his gold. Our Armenian has gotten none of his berries. And Hera now discovers this town center, although probably discovered it when his knights and archers were here anyway. Runs right through it. Loses one of his knights to these town center. Neither player with husbandry just yet, choosing to focus every single chicken nugget that they have, every ounce of gold, on units versus upgrades for those units. It looks like they both have +1 armor on their cavalry. And let's see what he can get done here. Our Armenian, by the way, that's it. Mission accomplished. Once these two towers go down, basically he's going to have to deal with some defense here, but so far nothing's really popping out of the siege workshop. Blacksmith, not really a very, not a very scary structure to have in front of your base. Wolf jumps into action, takes a little bit of HP off these knights. And what are you? You are the same 3 scouts who are continuing to scout. By the way, look at Hera's map vision. This is what, like 85% of the map. Our Pole hasn't even bothered to look at the right side of the map, but he's going for a very defensive castle here. Okay. Wheelbarrow for our Armenian. Otherwise, all economic upgrades are the same. All military upgrades are the same. But our Armenian will have wheelbarrow in a second. Remember, even though they are the same bow saw horse collar, not horse collar, bow saw, because of the Armenian feature, any technology here out of this mule cart, this donkey cart, 40% more effective. And so Capture Age doesn't really show us any mining upgrades, so I'm not too sure. I may have missed any mining upgrades, but for sure we see the bow saw upgrade. And now the warrior priests are out. They discover one relic. He's about to... No, the second relic got taken by our Pole. Where is his monastery? There it is. Okay, so he does discover one, takes the warrior priest. A second warrior priest, I should add. Gets it. Uh-oh. 50% of the towers down here are done. Now 100%. And that's all she wrote for the Armenians' aggression. So let's see what Daniel, or rather the Polish aggression, let's see what Daniel's planning behind this, because he went full tilt, full balls to the wall against Hera, and behind this, nothing much. He's got a good amount of gold. He just needs a lot more food, and then he'll be able to afford Schlachter privileges. By the way, Schlachter privilege is not an expensive upgrade. That's the one that reduces the gold cost of knights and cavaliers from 75 to 30. It does only cost 500 food and 300 gold, which for what it does is very, very cheap. Agree to disagree. When you reduce 45 gold from each knight unit, and it only costs 300 gold to do it, I'm not even going to do the math. 300 divided by 45. What is that, like 6 or 7? Definitely... you know what? I'm just going to start bringing a calculator to all of my casts, because I'm starting to get a little bit embarrassed of not being able to divide 50 by 3. Although I think I was right. It is 16.66666, so about 17. And I think 300 divided by 45 is about 6 or 7. For now, forget the mathematics struggles of yours truly. Hera is exploring even more the recesses of his opponent's base, and now discovers it only to die immediately. And that's all she wrote. So didn't really see very much in addition to what he's already seen. Defensive castle for him as well. So neither player really interested at the moment in going and attacking the other. Both of them are kind of just licking their wounds. But look at the Polish villager count, 102 to 78. Hera on the defensive, running around, moving villagers, having to plop down a quarter, a third of his economy to run around and defend against that tower push. Has suffered greatly economically, and now he's down 28 villagers. But he is down for a reason, because he is heading up to Imperial. Daniel, if you take a look at his resources, will have the gold for Imperial in a second. Just needs a little bit more food, and that he is getting very, very quickly. Oh, that forward barracks is finally getting taken care of. How many full works does he have? 6 full works. So remember, every single farm seeded in here, 8% gets immediately added to your coffers, which means if you seed a bunch of farms, you get a bunch of food. And speaking of a bunch of stuff, Hera says, you know what I would do if I was the Pole? I would go to Winged Hussars and I would raid the ever-loving hell out of you. And I know that's exactly what you're going to want to do to me. So he is starting perhaps the grandest construction project I have ever seen Hera undertake. He is walling off the entire freaking map. Oh no, Mother Nature says, not on my watch. Direwolf springs into action, but with 2 villagers. Obviously don't even need 2 villagers. Ooh, Daniel's gonna discover this, by the way. Oh, he's gonna see it. Will he react in time? Of course he does. I don't think I've ever seen Hera do this. Look at this. He's literally carving the map up in half. Hera perhaps hallucinating, perhaps thinking he's on Rage Forest. Oh, he loses all his villagers here, and there is still a gap. Now, that being said, though, there are a couple of villagers on this side who are probably going to be redirected over here. Another castle to the flank, which is going to get discovered by our pole as well. Composite Bowman is out. Not the strongest unit in the game, but you don't have to be when you ignore armor and you hold your bow and arrows sideways like a boss. What are all these red bits in here? I just want to take one last look to make sure I don't need to keep coming back. It is just a bunch of remnants. This is like when you go to Europe and you see a bunch of Roman ruins and amphitheaters and aqueducts and all these things. That is exactly what that is, so we don't need to keep coming back to it. Hera, look at this, the Great Wall of Armenia over here. This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. Our pole base, instead of having a wall, he's gone for the Maginot line of castles. 1, 2, 3, Orion's belt over here. And there's Winged Hussar. Hera is absolutely correct to fear the Winged Hussar. With Lakitic Legacy, it does trample damage. And by the way, pretty damn bonkers trample damage as well. It is 1/3 of its attack in a 0.5 tile radius. Villagers joining in to attack the knights. Why the hell not? The knight has almost no upgrades. It's just stuck on a +1 armor upgrade. Another castle for our pole. So the players have literally carved the map up in half. We're 38 minutes into the game, and this is the only time I've ever seen this happen. And there's Lakitic Legacy. Trample damage is on its way. How many villagers on food? Only 49. That is not enough. That is not enough if you want to absolutely overwhelm your opponent, but you're not going to be able to because your opponent has built an absolute Roman style line of fortifications around his base. And by the way, look at this gorgeous freaking unit. I'm just going to fanboy out for the next 5 or 6 seconds because this is just, I mean, stop moving a little bit. What a beautiful unit. Looks like Hera's managed to sneak in a bunch more knights here, but underneath the castle, they're not going to last very long. Upgrades for our pole are almost perfect at the moment. He is just 1 minute and 15 seconds away from Blast Furnace. And here we go. I mean, we're not going to see if knights counter pike, but we're going to see if Lakitic Legacy Winged Hussars are going to counter halberdiers. Hera, immediately 6 halberdiers are being trained. Legolas Composite Bowmen are out. They are not elite yet. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is it worth it to get the elite upgrade on this unit? The stats don't really improve that much. And look at this. Let us in. We want in. Oh my goodness. They're attacking walls. They're attacking walls that have 12 armor against your 11 attack. So 1 damage per swipe. Does trample damage apply to walls as well? To infrastructure or just to units? That is definitely something else I'm going to have to look up. Okay, Elite Composite Bowman on the way. Onager on the way to deal with the Elite Composite Bowman. Oh, we are gearing up, ladies and gentlemen. We are gearing up here for some potentially incredibly fun battles. We've got 30 Winged Hussars on the way, a Bombard Cannon and Mangonel line units. On the other hand, we've got Trebs, Halberdiers, and Composite Bowmen. So this is really going to be a numbers game, and who the hell doesn't like 2 massive armies, even though they are in, I'll put it in quotation marks, trash armies. Oh, bye-bye, second attack round, not the greatest here. They are technically trash armies, but who the hell doesn't love massive amounts of units slamming into one another? Ooh, luckily for this bombard cannon, he is his armor does not get ignored because he is a siege unit. And there's the elite composite bowman stats. Again, the stats don't really improve that much. The problem for Hera, as the problem is for all Rage Forest players, wall-offs are fantastic until Imperial Age, or if you're playing against the Kamai, the Khmer, until Castle Age if they get the Ballista Elephant. Because now this is these onagers are just gonna make this into Swiss cheese. All of these wall-offs mean nothing, because these guys can just go around it with forests. Now, how much forest is there? There's one over here, one over here, 1 and 2. So Hera, if he wants to fully wall this off, he's got a bit of work ahead of him, but he's got to deal with this first. 8, now 7, now 5, now 4, now 3 winged hussars are moving in. Okay, so it is trample damage does apply, because you see the palisade to the left and to the right. They are going down. I mean, now they're being attacked directly, but they are going down in HP. Oh, mamma mia. Let's see it. Bombard cannons taking on the Trebs. Winged hussars taking on what few composite bowmen remain, and the Trebs are firing. Mangonels are down. Bombard cannons are still around. Looks like Hera's base to the back is still being attacked by those few remaining winged hussars. He tries to penetrate the Polish farming community here with halberdiers of his own. And wow, how powerful is that trample damage? First of all, the actual attack itself is at a 13 for a light cavalry unit. For a trash unit is ridiculous. Number 2, the blast width, 0.5 tiles. Here we go, here we go. We're 45 minutes into the game. One player has 3,000 gold. The other has 1,200 gold, 900 stone. Both players, oh mama, let's see an absolute I'm gonna stop saying mamma mia all the time. I don't know why I keep saying mamma mia. I'm not Italian. There's no Italian on the battlefield. All I can think of right now are meatballs, as yours truly needs no excuse to just think about food in the middle of this massive battle. Gangster bowman on the high ground dealing extra damage, but now that the onagers are here, they have to back the hell away. And I'm surprised that Daniel isn't really making more of an issue here, having managed to penetrate through the forest. Although it looks like Hera has band-aided that gap in the forest, in the wall-off rather. Daniel has 57, 58 villagers on food. I'm not sure that's enough if you want to keep spamming. By the way, while this battle takes place, I want to look at infrastructure. 16 stables. Oh yeah, yours truly loves to see that. And barracks, 9 barracks. Hera's got to get the barracks numbers up. He needs to get the barracks numbers up ASAP. He needs to add at least 3, 4, or 5 more if he wants to match the capacity, the output power of the Pole, who is now training 23 winged hussars at once, but loses his onagers yet again. If only the Feriders upgrade the 30 extra HP applied to halberdiers, we would see an absolute epic confrontation here. But for now, Hera is setting up his army, staging it right in front of the Polish base. Looks like a few more. Oh, looks like he cut through the forest of Grandma's house yet again. But there are so many Armenian castles. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Armenian castles. I guess I could just double click them instead of actually counting on the on my fingers here. And Hera plugs this up as well. At this point, might want to cut your own forest and just plug it up. Halberdiers move in. They will be able to get the onager. Oh, if only this was a Korean onager with 1 minimum range instead of 3. A couple of winged hussars try to penetrate, but there's way too many halberds here. And another battle. Hera is at 200 population. He's getting hoardings now. But look at the never-ending stream of winged hussars who absolutely melt to the Armenian army combination here. How many kills for the composite bowmen? Only 32. 12 for these glorified pikemen. And we've got Obuch on the way. Yes. I mean, I look. Did I expect this game to go this route? Absolutely not. I expected Schlachter privileges. I expected a big battle, but not this big battle. Oh no, protect your university. Although at this point, I don't know if there's anything left to research in that university. Lycidic Legacy Winged Hussars are chasing these halberdiers down. The Obuch swipes every time with his giant warhammer. It's ludicrously, comically sized warhammer, that Nadjek. And by the way, why did they make their arm sleeves and their pant sleeves opposite colors? Black, white, white, black. I don't get it. I wonder if Age of Empires, if the developers have like a fashion consultant, a historical fashion. You know, there's somebody at like, I don't know, Columbia or Wesleyan who has like a medieval fashion degree. I wonder if they get consulted for these unit development. You know, their cape wasn't actually knee length. It was actually more to their butt. The Winged Hussars actually had brown feathers, not white. You know, things like that. That would actually be a pretty cool job to have if you were like a fashion consultant. Although outside of maybe video games, I'm not sure your degree would be very useful. Oh God, I'm rambling on about nonsense as a whole bunch of Armenian composite bowmen get smashed. Hera is adding in light cavalry of his own. They're going straight for the BBCs. Will they get? They should get one or two, right? Okay, causing a bit of damage. Villagers, hello, you were brought here for a purpose. Start repairing the BBCs. Don't just stand there and watch them die. And now these composite bowmen, as cool as they are, as armor ignoring as they are too few in number here. Looks like yet again another battle here. Yet again another attempt to cut through the forest. Yet again another band-aid put up by our Armenian. Treb is in trouble. And Treb goes down to the very slow, very weak attack of the halberdier light cavalry combo. This is absolutely incredible. The players are just refusing to budge from this center position. There's pokes and prods in multiple little areas to the right, to the left, but the main action here is just right to the center. We're 54 minutes into the game. Look at the villager kill count. Exactly 18 for both. Hera's engaging underneath a castle, though. Why did you not research murder holes? Why did you not research murder holes? I'm gonna try to highlight a... Oh, I don't know if you were... if your eyes were quick enough to see that armor on the halberdier get reduced. It was at 0 plus 3, then it was 0 plus 2, then 0 plus 1, and then a big fat 0. Winged Hussars trying to enter in through the right side. Even more forest cutting happening here. Construction villager dies to the bombard, but bombard's gonna die to the light cav. What an absolute game. This is like no one is safe here. I don't care if you've been conscripted to the Armenian or Pole army. I don't care if you've been given a Winged Hussar backpack or the halberdier or the cape with the conical helmet. Nobody is safe on this map, and our Armenian, confident enough he wants to spend that gold. Elite Obuch. Why the hell not? Daniel still has 1,400 gold to spend, and he has gone full trash, but he's busted his way through the front gates here. And now the light cavalry units, how many? 27 are streaming in. Hera's so focused on the front. Will he be able to defend against 27 units? That's a lot of units to penetrate into your base, although they're not really doing too much penetrating. They're just kind of putting in the tip at the moment. Just getting a few of these reinforcements. It looks like a bunch of them are streaming to the north, but the castle, Hera's created an absolute lattice of death here, overlapping circles and squircles of death. So I'm not really expecting these Winged Hussars to get too much done. And out of 27, 5 are left. Actually, 3 are left. 2 are left. Oh, he is getting villagers. And out of 27, what did they kill? A few villagers? That was a complete waste of food for Daniel. But does he care? He's got 15 more on the way. Castle looks like it got denied, or at least replaced and plopped down somewhere a little bit safer, although not too much safer. He's going after the composite bowman. Should be going after the Treb. He is leaving the Treb up as Daniel, maybe hoping that his Winged Hussars will get it. Why is no one attacking this Treb? And in come the Obuch. Okay, there. Okay, never mind. The bombard cannons to the left are getting the Treb. What an absolute bloodbath here, and that penetration of winged hussars is over, and we are back at the 59-minute mark of the game to still fighting over this center territory. World War I trench warfare style. Let's just sit back and enjoy it. Kind of sucks for the Armenians, by the way, that they don't get bombard cannons. Hera absolutely loves using bombard cannons. A random donkey cart inserts itself into here, but Hera's castle is down. That is sour. Armenian siege, not exactly the strongest in the game. Look, Pole siege itself is also not the strongest, but the Armenians, the Poles at least get bombard cannons and siege engineers. Does he have siege engineers, by the way? Yes, he does. Of course he does. Armenians don't get siege rams, siege onagers, siege engineers, bombard cannons. They are missing a lot of the heavy hitters, which would potentially help them, or maybe not against winged hussars, given their maneuverability. And yet again, the battle is not over. The players, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Look at the reinforcements streaming in from the north. Look at the reinforcements streaming in from the south. And 2 more Trebs are about to die. Light cavalry take a bit of a breather. Now they're going after the Treb to the left as well. Composite bowmen must have about 1 million kills at this point. 34 for 23. I guess they're brand new units. Fresh recruits. Hera mission accomplished. Retreats with 3 incredibly damaged light cavalry units. Saves them for the future battle. How many of us would have done that? Incredible, incredible longevity out of those light cavalry units. Although, let's see what they can actually accomplish here. Army count is 75 to 53. But of that 53, 34 winged hussars, 12 oboes. Where are the 2 knights, by the way? Why did it take me here? Okay, so 1 knight is here to the south. Where's the healthier knight? He's here. Okay, so the knights are on guard duty at the moment. Not too sure what was happening here. Or the onager tried to get the villager, it looks like. Knights are on protective duty in case this happens. So now there you go. Here we go. The knight's going to spring into action. Yes, he does. Knowing perhaps, Daniel, that Hera can only really raid with light cavalry units. And so a knight should be good enough to fight that light cavalry unit, especially with some winged hussar reinforcement. But Hera's taken firm control of this central plain at the same time. Another cut through the same forest that was OG originally cut. Daniel's army takes some damage. Not too sure where the onager thinks he's going. He's going to get got by that castle. Hera preemptively pulls the villager. Bye-bye, onager. Bye-bye, onager. Oh, the castle's focusing on the winged hussars, but they're gone. And the onager backs out. Backs away from the circle of death. And then dies anyway because the halberdiers catch up to it. We'll keep an eye on those winged hussars with picture-in-picture for now. I'm really curious to see what the hell is going to happen here. 1 unit ignores armor. 1 unit reduces armor. Meat shields for both players. This is absolutely epic. Trying to call a battle like this is like trying to predict who's going to be president in the US in 24 years. I have no freaking clue. It's going to come down to micro army composition and attack rounds, especially from our Pole, who is also now at the 200 population cap. And by the way, his army count is not that much lower. Where are these light cavalry units going? Where the hell are they going? They're going after the Trebs. So the name of the game here for Hera is forget the one-on-one army confrontation. I'm going to go after your heavy-hitting gold-costing units. Because if you run out of gold, if you run out of onagers and Trebs, I can fight you 1v1 with my halberdiers and composite bowmen. I don't know that that's necessarily correct, but I feel like that's Hera's mentality right now, especially with 3 Trebs here exposed. He sees they're exposed. He goes right at them. Oh, they unpack, and their melee armor goes from 2 to 1. Not the biggest drop, but still a drop. And now the castle on the high ground's getting attacked, but I have 0 fears for this castle with those Trebs. One of them dead, the other retreating. More blood in the center of this map. I'm doing my best, by the way, to avoid looking at the bottom right of our screen. I do not want to look at the kill count until the end of the game. I kind of saw it a few minutes ago when we saw the villager kill count. But more and more units are coming in here for both players. Again, streaming from the south, streaming from the north. Another onager gets added in. He's got 3 onagers, 2 Trebs. Our Armenian, he might be able to kill the army, but he can't really penetrate beyond this area, Armenian has no heavy hitting units whatsoever. He doesn't have a capped ram, he doesn't have an onager, he doesn't have a treb of his own. And so the push ability of this Armenian army is severely hampered by the missing units here, whereas our Pole, if he wins the battle to the center, he can keep pressing with 2 trebs and 3 onagers. He can bust through this wall off, he can start taking down infrastructure. Our Armenian, what's he gonna do? If you win the battle, what are you gonna do? You're gonna run through another castle zone like you are now, another town center, 2 town centers? Hera needs to add a, there we go. Okay, he realizes that he adds in 2 trebs of his own. And at the hour 8-minute mark of the game, peace has fallen upon Arabia. By the way, let's take a look at how many resources are left. No stone, no gold, and a little bit of food and wood. Wow, so all of the precious resources have been mined out. What is the relic count? 5-1. Hera. I mean, I'm really trying to avoid looking at the bottom right kill count, but look at the difference in relic gold, 6,000 to 1,200. Hera is just generating gold up the wazoo. But look at the tide. 47 winged hussars. Does Daniel have too many villagers? Should he delete 20 of these villagers? I feel like if he did and he took one big fight, he would end this game right now. If he could overwhelm this army, which is what, 59, 60, 82 army supply in this one screen that we're watching for Hera. Let me repeat that, ladies and gentlemen. 82, and now 3 more, 4 more, 86 army supply on one screen for one player. If Daniel can bust through it, I don't think Hera's going to be able to replace it, even though he does have 2,000 food. Hera maybe went a little bit too overboard on the trebs. They are unpacking here, trying to go for the castle to the right. We'll see how far they get. In the meantime, though, these winged hussars are just overwhelming everything. They are dying, though. He's only got 31 left, but look at the queue up for our Pole. 100 winged hussars are queued up. And Daniel agrees with me. He's going after the army first. Hera would have gone after the trebs. Or sorry, doesn't, not agrees with me, disagrees with Hera. The onager pops out at the worst location for our Armenian. Will he get another treb? No, just one more shot off and that's it. But getting 2 trebs is not bad at all. Our Pole's running out of gold. He needs to start spamming all of these hussars into one location, and that is exactly what he's doing. Anything being trained? Another onager. Where will he pop out? He pops out again. Oh, that's sour. He attacks the area where the treb used to be. Okay, one more attack and the treb will go down. Wow. Anything coming out of you? No. Anything coming out of you? Just winged hussars. And this is defender's advantage literally before our very eyes as Daniel overwhelms the Armenian army, and Hera just lost so freaking much. Confident he was. I don't know, I'm speaking like you're confident he is that he can hold this area, that he brings in villagers to build a barracks, but the winged hussar. I am struggling so much not to say mamma mia. But really, mamma mia, what the hell do you do against the player who can train 50 winged hussars at any given moment? 94 villagers on food for our Pole, 81 for our Armenian. And the parties disengage. And look at that. Quiet. Silence. Gate is down. Winged hussars are pumping in. We're an hour and 14 minutes into this game. Looks like Hera is lashing out as well. He's got 9 kills so far. All of them villagers with these light cavalry units. But now with the gates down, will Daniel be actually be able to do something here? His last 3 or 4 attempts to penetrate Hera have met with absolute failure. Get your minds out of the gutter when I say stuff like that. But now he is heading over. But the castles are strong enough and well placed enough that they are absolutely stymieing all of these attempts here. How many kills for you guys? 8. All of them villagers, and now Hera's doing the same thing, and now we have entered into the bonkers stage of the game where the players are going to tear into one another, and basically at this point it is who is the least stubborn mule of the 2 mules we are watching. Who is going to GG first? Because look at the frickin' scores. 27-7 to 27-1, 27-2. Literally 2% score difference after an hour and 16 minutes is about as epic as you can get in Age of Empires. I mean, this game is just bonkers. I'm gonna have to do a community post about this game and how amazing it is. I don't care who wins here, honestly. Like I said, until and unless they invent gambling for Age of Empires, all I want to see is a good show, an educational show, an instructional show, an inspirational show even. And that is what we're getting. It looks like the Armenian incursion to the back. The penetration has been denied. Both players ripping into one another. Our Pole, though, is still in the back of the Armenian base. Now he's attacking the flank, but there's 3 castles here. Oh my god, 4 armor. That's the weakness of the Pole cavalry, because they get Schlachta. You can't give them all the armor upgrades. And so only 4 pierce armor makes them very squishy to the castles. But Hera loses more of his army. Wow. I was going to say, for the first time in the game, Hera's army count is much, much lower. Or for the first time in the last hour, Hera's army count is much, much lower. My hands are on my head. I'm trying not to yell into the speaker. But look at the frickin' statistics in front of you. 825 winged hussars, 538 halberdiers, 335 light cav, 84 oboes, 210 composite bowmen, 34 onagers. I mean, this is a Rage Forest 4 versus 4 lineup. This is not a 1v1 Arabia lineup, although I guess it is. Peak APM for Daniel, literally minutes ago. Peak APM for Hera, also literally minutes ago. Okay, I'm about to look at the bottom right of my screen to look at the kill count. Oh yeah, baby. Almost 1,200 kills for our Pole, almost 1,000 kills for our Armenian villager kill count, about 39-40 apart. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. There's going to be a lot of as I stutter my way through this game analysis portion of the video. If you're still watching this, first of all, thank you, and thanks for watching. But man, oh man, what an epic game. Let's look at the stats, because I honestly, I don't know what to say about this game except to say this was a complete battle of wills. Resources collected were so much higher for our Pole. Wow, what was the villager? Does it say what the villager, how many villagers were like the most villagers you had at any given moment? First of all, look at the relic. 5,800 gold, extra gold Hera had. This is why players on Arena fight over relics tooth and nail like 2 street dogs over a piece of meat thrown in the back of a restaurant, because this is the disparity that you can see, especially, by the way, with the Armenian feature where it adds 1 extra relic to the game. So you have 6 instead of 5. Unfortunately, on Arena, the games usually don't last an hour and 17 minutes. If they did, it would make fighting over the relics much, much more worth it, and we'd probably see a lot more exciting Feudal Age / let's say late Feudal Age, early Castle Age battles in Arena. But this is incredible. 5,800 extra gold. Let's take a look. Oh my god! Wood count identical. This is incredible. This is just the similarity here is bonkers to me. Wood count is literally identical. 1 villager's carrying capacity difference between, in an hour and 17 minute game. Food count, of course, for our Pole with their ridiculous full work feature and their just, I think Daniel had like 90 villagers on food at the end of the game, right? 85 to Hera's 40 at the end of the game. And so no surprise there. Gold, there's your gold difference in relics. Basically, what did I say? 5,800. And this is what, 4,300. So basically, it looks like our Pole may have mined a bit more gold, although maybe generated more gold from his stoneworkers is more like it. And there's the extra stone that he teefed in the early stages of the game when he was pressing into here. I honestly don't even remember where the hell Hera's original town center was. It this one? It's got to be this one, right? And the stone that was being mined here by our Pole when he was pushing in with the towers. 2 conversions playing 0 roll, 30 raises to 13, but look at the kill count. Oh my god, 1187 to 971. That is just a ridiculously fun kill count. And the lovers in Age of Empires of big battles, you have no excuse not to watch this game from minute 1 to minute 77.5, because from minute 1 with that very aggressive, I don't know if it was here or somewhere else. I feel like it was here. Or was this the barracks that Hera placed later on in the game when he tried to get all cocky with his 2 villagers here? Anyway, somewhere here there was a barracks, a very forward barracks by our Pole as he pressed in. And from minute 1 with the tower rush, with the barracks, with the blacksmith and the siege workshop, our Pole just put on so much pressure. Then Hera with the Great Wall of Hera here. Again, something I'd never seen, and something which, by the way, may have saved him GGing about 30 or 40 minutes ago, to be honest. This wall led to a lot of longevity in the game, for better or worse. I mean, Hera still GG'd at the end of the day, but maybe he would have GG'd 30 minutes ago. He did give himself an opportunity, but what the hell do you do against this gorgeous, beautiful winged Hussar? I mean, just look at this unit. Fanboy galore. What a gorgeous unit, but yeah. Not much to say about this game, except at the end of the day, this is really just a battle of wills, and Hera preemptively made it so. If he had left this open, Daniel would be all over him to the top. Daniel would be all over him to the bottom. Hera, by the way, had that opportunity to do the exact same thing to our Pole, but chose to go infantry composite bowman instead, because he thought he could force a head-on collision by walling off the entire map. He forced basically the battle to occur in mainly one location. Obviously, Daniel penetrated multiple times. There were a few scuffles over here. There were a few scuffles over here. You can still see the dead villagers in the grasslands. But really, Hera forced the battle to go here by basically walling off the map and then putting his army here. And if you put your army here, your opponent's going to have to respond with his army over here as well. And so he forced that engagement out of Daniel. And that was a brilliant meta strategical play out of our Armenian. Unfortunately for him, yeah, Daniel just busted in. The first few times he busted in, didn't really get too much accomplished. Hera's castle placement was just absolutely superb. I mean, look at the circles here. You have castle, town center. Town center, castle. So at the end of the day, what, 7 castles? Amazing. Barracks 12. Okay, so he did listen to me, even though this game was a little while ago. He did listen to me across space and time, added a few more barracks. 29 stables. I mean, this is just a masterpiece of late game light cavalry play. And like I said, this is not Black Forest, this is not Rage Forest, this is not Michi, this is not Amazon Tunnel, but Daniel sure did plop down a huge amount of infrastructure. And are his knights still alive? No, they are not. They died defending the Polish farming community. And how many folwarks? 14 folwarks. Every farm seated in one of these red squares, 8% gets added to your coffers. And how powerful a feature is that? And at the end of the day, unfortunately, Hera could not keep up with all of the raiding. He lost his army here to the center. And now that he has no more army presence here, his opponent really has no more reason to be here. And because he has no more reason to be here, he is just going to start raiding the hell out of the Armenian settlement. And even though Hera can escape into town centers, into castles, it doesn't really matter. The more you escape, the less your villagers are working the farms. The less they're working the farms, obviously, the less units you can produce, or the fewer units you can produce. And Hera realizes with the loss of control of the center, that is exactly what's coming in the next couple of minutes. And ultimately, because of that, I believe he decided, you know what, nah. You win this round, Mr. Daniel, he says as he lives to fight another day, taps out. But holy moly, Daniel takes the W with this gorgeous unit. But truly, in a ridiculously fun game, GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.